Let's start with a topic that got a lot of attention earlier this year. We're recording end of 2022, I'd say. You were like very public about your thoughts on the Silicon Valley mafia, I'd call them right now. So, what would you say is the role of Silicon Valley and the people there um, compared to the rest of the ecosystem, and how did this play out for you as a founder not living there?
Yeah. Well, I I'm also a bit of a lucky founder in that I was lucky to get into Stanford and kind of get, some advantages of Silicon Valley through that. I say a lot of founders are even more disadvantaged than I am not being from Stanford. So one, I kind of want to point out that I do come from a bit of a privileged place. Um, but I would say there's certain institutions in Silicon Valley, like a Y Combinator, where if you don't get in to the club, you just kind of don't have access to certain investors. If you're starting a company that competes with kind of other companies that are already have a lot of investors locked up on their cap table, it makes it more challenging. So there are these moats in Silicon Valley that, depending on what you're building or who you choose as your investors or accelerators, you you might get helped more than others. So I would say for us, we actually weren't able to raise from a lot of investors where we were kind of seen a bit as competitors with some of the larger companies that I pointed out. And so we had to get scrappy and raise from a lot of up and coming investors who now have built great firms, but actually where we took early bets on them and they took early bets on us. And so I would say there's no hard feelings at any of the players involved. I think this is just helpful to understand that there are these dynamics that exist.